welcome everybody. This is Norman Kochnik here from Extra Time. Well, I'm very smug, and I think Hart is also a little bit smug. The reality is that Delhi Capitals have won, and you would argue quite handsomely, even with roughly 5 balls to spare. They showed their mettle. It looks like Mumbai show some vulnerability in their middle order for the first time. They've broken a bit of a hoodoo. Delhi Capitals have won at Chennai. It's been a number of years. I think it was, I'm not sure, 10 or something crazy years.
11 years. 11 years.
11 years, in fact, since they've actually defeated Mumbai Indians in this manner. I think we're seeing somewhat of a, I know it's early days, but somewhat of a changing the guards slightly. Mumbai Indians simply didn't get enough runs. And bowling, Kieran Pollard in the last over. Bumrah and the likes, Trent Bolt went for broke. Well, they didn't have enough runs. And they simply didn't do it. The pressure showed. There was some no balls thrown in there. Even though the reality was that Delhi held firm. They didn't lose as many wickets. They had plenty in the tank. Hetmar, worthy selection. Didn't even need Stoinis. So many pluses. So many pluses. I think my little crystal ball here has come to fruition. Didn't I say, guys? Didn't I say back before?
Yes, you did.
And DeBarcis was going, huh, in the background. Well, his means nothing now. Welcome, Siddharth. And look, I know a certain Bharat Army fan there is going to show that he's a Bharat Army fan because he's got his flag there. He's going to flap it madly in the background. He's very happy. Well, in fact, I'm happy too. In fact, Siddharth, you were so smug about Mumbai, and I'm afraid you weren't right.
Glad to have been proven wrong.
Oh,
glad to have been proven wrong.
That's very good. So welcome, Siddharth. Both of you.
Pleasure.
Very much welcome.
Pleasure, Norman.
Siddharth, over to you to start with. We'll let the Delhi Capitals boy fan here settle down a bit. I think the last time he was on, he was upset. He was throwing things at the TV set. Today, he's not. So that's good. Siddharth, your take.
I mean, really, I mean, I think Delhi Capitals deserved it every bit of the way. Firstly, old is always gold. It has now been established. Amit Mishra, what a sensational bowling spell. Getting rid of Rohit Sharma for the 7th time. And Rohit looked in that zone today. I mean, that 6 that he hit of Rabada, it showed like, oh boy, Rohit is in the mood today. Yeah. But Mishra, flummoxing him yet again. And yet again, I told you, in that pre-match, Rohit getting exploited by the googly, the incoming one, he mistimed it. Getting rid of Hardik Pandya, getting rid of Kieran Pollard. You've essentially shattered that middle order, and it looks vulnerable now. Let all other teams take this note, especially KKR. Especially. The Mumbai middle order is not an alpha male team of batsmen. They are vulnerable. Yep. And the best part is for Delhi Capitals, I think you have the mojo on Hardik Pandya. His 5 ducks that have come in the last 5 years, 4 have come against Delhi Capitals. You know how to get him out cheaply. And professional job, very, very professional job by the batsman. Again, KKR and others have to learn. They didn't lose their nerve. It was the same equation. 34 of 30. Slightly tougher, I may add. But they didn't wilt. Bumrah and Bolt, they had to go for broke. Rohit had to bowl them out. And you're left with Kieran Pollard. Job done in style. Thorough winners, good winners, professional winners. But now my only appeal to Delhi Capitals is please maintain the momentum. Please maintain.
Exactly. I was just about to, tell that, they should start backing their players. It's perfect time. I know they were trying to find the perfect balance. We didn't got the perfect balance in spite of the win against last wins against Punjab. Batting order looks a bit peaky. We won by 7 wickets, but still, we felt we are still one batsman short. So playing in with Shimron Hetmeyer, playing it with Steven Smith, think it's a right balance. And moreover, promoting Lalit Yadav, it was as per the equation. Not only the left hand right hand combination, we could have sent someone like Marcus Stoinis, but if Marcus Stoinis could have got out in playing some big shot, I think the game would have hanged in the balance. So I think, as much as we groom someone like Lalit Yadav, the way he bowled, he might be actually, a finisher who can provide you with 4 overs. I think he has been a find, and it will take time. He will become only better and better as the tournament proceeds. So, if he fires at the pace, like all the finisher does, Hardik Pandya does, Sam Curran and Maxwell, AB, if he is among them, then I think Delhi is a strong contender to, be the favorites to win the cup.
That's an interesting point, though. I still would have batted Rishabh Pant ahead of him, if I'm being honest with you. I actually think, despite the fact that he did well, I think that was somewhat of a mistake. I would have put Punt in earlier. Why? Because I think we know what we're getting in terms of his finishing ability. Okay, he didn't do it today, admittedly, but he didn't have perhaps the right position to do it perfectly. I think that it all goes well for Delhi Capitals, but I think I would have flipped that batting order around. Steve Smith was certainly worthy of his place today. Don't you agree?
Yep, absolutely. That stability provided. Good stability.
And I think if you watch Ricky Ponting, and again, they made a lot of comments about Ricky Ponting and Steve Smith sitting next to each other, the body language in the dugouts, they tell me so much, so much. I mentioned earlier about the likes of Kohli with Dan Christian, that dynamic. And then the bad dynamics of Warner, Williamson, and even Bairstow. Williamson, Bairstow being well away from the dugout, and there's Warner on his own. You know what? That tells us everything. No social media platform can hide that. You can't hide that. Social media platforms would not show that. But the reality of the game, they had to show that. And I think the camera should be glued on the dugout every match now, because you'll get the true sense of what's going on out there. If there's any dissension, like a KKR dissension, you're going to see that. You're going to see that well and truly by that. That dugout is really the television set of the team. You need to judge exactly what's going on with that. And again, today showed that very much so. Okay,
absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Flap your, I don't know what he's doing, but flap your flag. Where are you? Go on, give it a thrush. Come on, I want to see the flag. Yeah, but that's not strong enough. Go for it. Go for it.
It's actually, roaring. The flag, even it's roaring like this.
Right. So there you go. This is your moment to gloat, as I would say. You need to gloat now and say, "Oh, Delhi Capital, look at us, Mumbai, nah."
Taking the revenge. Last time what they did to us, beating us in all 4 games. Probably, the revenge they might hate the most.
Absolutely.
So, welcome, Mr. Chakraborty. Have you been sleeping? What have you
No,
been doing?
I was working. I was working. Just finished off my match report.
Okay, that's all. I believe you. Many people wouldn't believe you, but I believe you.
No.
Oh, here we go. Now I can't read this. Who can read this? Siddharth, can you read this?
Yeah. Should we have expected more from Bumrah? If he didn't bowl those no balls and then the runs that came off it, if he bowled a few dots, MI would surely have had a massive chance.
Oh, that's too hard. That's way too hard. I mean, the fact is they didn't get enough runs, Mumbai Indians. They didn't get enough runs, period. They bowled him in a risky rush. Should have bowled the last overs with Trent Bolt. I know they needed to do that, you might think, but I think they really needed to stick to their guns. And having Kieran bowl the last over is a mistake no matter what. So
yeah.
Would you agree,
sir? I think Rohit he knew that he had an underpar score, at least 15-20 runs underpar. So he needed wickets. There was pressure built. He then felt that, okay, let me just go for broke. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So he decided to finish off Bumrah and Bolt. He thought maybe by the 19th over, if I have maybe 11 or 12 runs to defend, then I can rely on one more bowler. But unfortunately, it didn't work. Bumrah bowling no balls. I mean, yet again, after 4 years, I'm again seeing Bumrah bowling no balls. Very, very surprising.
But credit to Lalit Yadav and Shimron
Yeah.
Hetmeyer as well. They did a professional job and finished off the match pretty well.
Especially Lalit Yadav should be taken as a batting consultant for KKR for the way how they choked that day.
Thanks for that, Sid.
Oh,
Well,
come
that's
on.
nasty.
31 of 30. Today, Delhi Capitals needed 34 of 30. Yet they got the job done, despite Bolt and Bumrah bowling full tilt.
They
And we
required
mustn't,
even 38.
Exactly.
we mustn't forget Shikhar Dhawan. I mean, his strike rate wasn't very high, but he also batted very, very well under the circumstances. Pity he didn't finish it, but I think there was one over where he scored, where he actually got out. He hit a 6 and a 4 in that over early on, and he's a champion. I really think a lot of Darwin. I think that he's a very important part of the T20 World Cup mix. To be honest with you, I think they can. He's a big match player, and he's proving it again. Pretty sure he's not getting any luck. It frustrates me somewhat, but ultimately, Steve Smith is going to stay. He's proven himself today. He needs to be in the side. It could be a very much attraction. I just want Rishabh Pant. I know, maybe Rishabh Pant's foxing with us. Maybe he's getting these little scores now, and he'll come back with a big punch at the end. That's my thoughts. I think Pant's Pant's extremely clever. I really think that he has a knack of these games. This is his tournament.
But,
just like,
but
you know,
Norman Yatat,
yeah,
I just foresee
Hang on,
one slight problem. Yeah.
Go ahead, Sadat. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you include Smith, if you include Hetmeyer, if you include Stoinis, so then does that mean that only Rabada is your overseas bowler? You have no place for Vokes, you have no place for Northier.
Well, it depends on the pitch, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would like to,
Ultimately.
answer that question. I think the team selection is more on the venue which they play. I think the venue is on Chennai, so they, trust on Marcus Stoinis because the slower deliveries he bowled, he got a wicket in his very third over. So I think that's the plan. They are trying to assess their pitch not on the previous performance, but they're trying to, get their playing 11 right on, what kind of surface they're playing. Chris Brooks didn't did anything wrong, but he had to make way out for someone like Shimron Hetmeyer because we were one batsman's short. And against a quality bowling lineup of Mumbai Indians, if again, as Rishabh Pant got out at a cheeky time, and even Lalit Yadav was, he was under a bit of pressure because the world's number worst bowler is bowling into you, and you are in a crunch situation where Mumbai Indians have already defended that score 2 times. So I think playing in an extra batsman, I think it helped the cause. But as we see, moving the games to Ahmedabad, Kolkata, then I think again we will drop someone like Steven Smith, and no doubt someone like Ajinkya Rahane might come in. Or if Lalit Yadav is settled, maybe we promote him at 3. Or if Shimron Hetmeyer, we can balance. Our middle order is very much flexible. We can send someone like Shimron Hetmeyer up when Shikhar Dhawan goes out. We can send someone like Marcus Stoinis when
Oh my God,
Prithvi
this
Shaw
is
is
you're making
so I
too many
think
changes to me. I'm getting a headache from how many changes you're making.
there
I
are
mean,
a lot
I'm
of
starting to lose. You're
combinations.
making too many changes to a team.
It's just according to the pitch what suits the team best. I think I don't have any problem if you are dropping your 2 quality bowlers, Chris Vokes and Inder Nokia. They're sheer wicket takers. But if you are assessing the team according to pitch, I absolutely have no problem.
The
I,
reality
I
is,
think,
go
and
ahead,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's why I emphasized on the recruitment phase in the preview show. The way Delhi Capitals, Mumbai Indians, and even you, as you mentioned, Royal Challengers Bangalore in the preview show, they have built such a squad. We have to give them credit. They can play 3 overseas players if they want. They have that luxury to play an extra Indian player because of the quality they have in this squad.
Absolutely. There's a very important point here. We're talking about every other bowler except for the match winner, and who was that? Amit Mishra. We're talking a lot about whether Norjay should be in the side or this person or that person. Amit Mishra should be in the side every time after the way he played. He took, as I think Siddharth talked about for the match, he quite frankly took the significant wickets of the match and is I'm sure he's the player of the match. He has to be player of the match in my opinion.
He
What
has
do
been
you
awarded
think?
captain of the match.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves it on the basis of the importance of the wickets he took. But all I'm trying to say is it's very important for them to have horses for courses, as what Yahya had said. Location will dictate players. The likes of Chris Wokes will be in the side as well when needed. Norjay will be when needed. And I think that's the beauty of perhaps Delhi Capitals. They have options. They have a lot of options that they can address. Now, Mr. Chakraborty, we need to hear from you. I want your take.
About the recruitment part, about the quality of domestic players.
So yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have to give them credit. As I said, it is not an easy thing to do in IPL where 8 teams are fighting for quality players, and quality domestic players are rare in India. Like there's a shortage for they can't fill 8 teams. But the likes of Delhi Capitals, Mumbai Indians, even RCB for that matter, have invested well in the youngsters. Even KKR for that matter. But the players like Nagar Koti or Shivam Mavi, they haven't fulfilled their potential. So invested a lot in the experience part. Ravichandran Ashwin, Amit Mishra, they have the experience. Even Rishabh Pant now is an experienced campaigner in international cricket as well. So they know their quality. Shikhar Dhawan for that matter, they have experience. They have leaders in that squad, and I think they have all the capability to do well and go one step ahead of last season this time.
Absolutely. Many people will say, I know Siddharth or someone will tell me it's too early, it's too early, it's too early. No, I think we're starting to turn that corner now. The corner's starting to turn. This is a significant mental change, mental shift. They've broken, I think, several barriers, haven't they, by winning this match? What were the stats, Siddharth? What did you say? 11 years?
Yeah, first win for Delhi. I mean, for Delhi Capitals, let me add, they won as the previous avatar of Delhi Daredevils. That was in 2010. But they were all playing against Chennai Super Kings. This was Mumbai's first loss at the venue since 2018. If I'm not mistaken, it was their first loss.
Exactly.
And Rohit Sharma, yeah, Rohit Sharma getting out for the 7th time to the veteran. If he continues to pick wickets, he can surpass Malinga and become the highest wicket taker of the IPL.
Amazing.
That is the value of Amit Mishra. He's taken 3 hat tricks, for crying out loud. Yet he doesn't get the recognition that he
He
deserves.
almost got his 4th one. Trent Bolt dropped the catch.
Oh yes. Damn.
And you said it before. We talked about every other bowler just then when we first got on air. We talked about every other bowler, in, out, who's in there. We kept on forgetting about the man who actually is the center of attention. We should be.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the wickets that he got. He got Rohit. He broke the top order momentum. He got Pandya. He got Pollard. The finishers were gone.
Ishan Kishan also in between.
Yeah, then when Ishan Kishan and Jayant Yadav building the threatening partnership, 150 was on the cards. Just on the second last ball, he got it with a quicker one. Look at the guile. Look at the experience. He yogged Ishan Kishan. And luck also went. Imagine that ball had just hit the bail. The bail was not dislodged. The previous Delhi Daredevils side would be plagued with that kind of hard luck. Not this Delhi Capitals team, luckily.
I remember, when we talk about that previous Delhi Daredevils, because I have been supporting Delhi since, now more than 8 years. So I remember, 6 runs were needed, 2 deliveries were left. Manish Pandey was on batting. Amit Mishra was a bowler, and Amit Mishra just floated that ball a little bit more, and that ball went for 6. These little things hurts you the most, and whenever it's a close contest like this, but it hurted the most when we were Delhi Daredevils. But fortunately in Delhi Capitals the things have changed it, and I believe touch wood that these things are going in our favor, because these things hurts the most, because the way we lost to Rajasthan, I think it was one of those. So we just don't want to just repeat it again and again, because last time around we saw Punjab, they lost around 4 to 5 games in a close contest. Was it
You won
super
today.
over?
You won today. You won today. Let's not worry about when you lost before. You won today, and you're going to keep winning.
Yeah.
That it's a true Delhi Capitals fan. The hurt is coming out. This out of your pores. The hurt of some of the previous year's losses is coming out. It's time to let it out. It's time to go forward. It's a cathartic moment. It's a cathartic moment. Not a Dinesh Karthik moment, but a cathartic moment. There's a difference there. All right, we'll be wary. Now, before, I mean, your heart, I think he's had 3 heart attacks the last matches we watched him play. And you're only a young man. You need to get that respirator next to you because you're going to need it. You're going to be in for an exciting tournament coming up. I think Delhi Capitals, albeit early, have to be firming as one of the top 3 for sure. No doubt now. But whether they can, but then that loss they had a few games ago, there's an element of uncertainty about the consistency. That's the only issue. They need to continue. As I think Siddharth said, momentum is everything now. Let's really ram it home. They've got to start to beat sides well. And momentum's got to shift their level up another gear. They're still not good enough. They basically didn't get, they should have been 1 down perhaps. They should really think in terms of let's really smash this. I know it's not, let's forget Chennai for a minute, but if Delhi Capitals really wanted to stamp this game with class, they would have been 1 down, maybe 2 down. They were 4 down. They were very, very close to that. But they needed to really stamp it home. And I think this is where Rishabh Pant will come into play. If at his top form, he would have cleaned up the rest of the runs. Anyway, all right, I've talked enough. Subhayan, would you like to say something? That bid's gotten longer in the break.
But it wasn't so easy to bat on, right? It became easier later in the innings, but straight away it wasn't easy. So I guess if we say that they should have won by 1 or 2 wickets, then I think it's a bit tad harsh, I feel. But credit to Delhi Capitals, they did their job pretty professionally, and 3 wins in 4 matches, pretty good.
Absolutely. I was just going to comment on the Steve Smith factor. I think that's not to be discounted. He is going to be very important to Delhi Capitals. And clearly Ponting recognises that, and their conversations were very intense. And I think there's a significance there. But was the pitch up? Oh, well, the pitch was ordinary, wasn't it? The amount of spin that I think was Shahar got, that was quite deadly.
I think, more than the pitch, it was the mental aspect, that batsmen have the mental thing in their head, that pitch is not that helpful for the batsman. I think it's more of the mental aspect, last time around when RCB played on KKR, they scored 200, you have to look at the other side of the pitch, batsmen like Glenn Maxwell and ABD, just shifted the momentum completely. So more than the pitch, I think it's the mental aspect which is playing with the batsman that, you can't just easily go and slog there for every ball. I think once they get that clear from the pitch, I think it's too harsh to say that because it's only the first game which they have played. Mumbai, on the other hand, they have played 3 games, and the way they started, they look Mumbai Indians way they started. I think they look very familiar to the pitch, and I think that was the only difference. Why the EC batsmen were looking a bit, rusty. That you saw the wicket of Rishabh Pant and Steven Smith. Steven Smith is not a person who gets leg before by moving to the side of the wicket. We have seen in the test matches, Ashes, you have seen everything. I think it was the slowness of the pitch, and he didn't read the pitch that well as he could do in other grounds. So I think, that pitch plays the mental aspect as well. But I think you should be more calculative. Once you get in, I think it's your responsibility to get as a batsman, you get your line over the victory as soon as possible. Shikhar Dhawan, he played the right innings till 25 balls, but the next 25 innings he should have been more proactive by converting those singles into doubles and finding those cheeky boundaries. I think it's required at particular time.
Yeah, I think you're right. The reality is that's what I'm trying to say to you about going to another level with Delhi Capitals. They're in a position of strength, of a magnificent breakthrough win today, which the mental state will change. But now they've got to really ram this home in the future games. When they play a lesser side, Dhawan and Pant have to show their wares. They have to show a consistent growth in their innings. You're right. They should be turning those 40s into 60s. The grounds they're going to be playing from now on should favour batters more and more. Don't you agree? I'm not too sure about Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad's the only worry. That could be a bit of a Chennai in the making. Let's hope not. But that's where I think this side's got a few more gears to go, hasn't it? Siddharth.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. But let us understand one more thing. This is after this, they play one more game in Chepauk and then they'll move to Ahmedabad. So how the dynamics will change Now, Pant, this unique concept. Now, I will tell you why Rishabh Pant is in a very advantageous position when it comes to a neutral IPL. In 2017, the Ranji Trophy was played on neutral venues. They didn't have a home advantage as such. In that season, Pant absolutely decimated every bowling attack that was there. He hit the fastest first class century in India. He hit a triple century. That was what got Pant in the Indian cricket team. From that knock, neutral venues, even here, there are neutral venues. So Pant probably gets unshackled by all the things. Oh, home advantage, away advantage. Here, there is no home and no away. So we may see Pant insisting more on captaincy, consistency also. But what he now needs to improve is a steady team composition. That is the only thing now that is needed. Pant needs a steady batting order, meaning he has to bat at a certain number. He can't be shifted up to number 5. Oh, the situation number 3. Oh, no. He has to bat at a certain position. Then the batting order will be sorted.
Just to add one is that I think T20 is a format, the more flexible your middle order would be, you will be that stable team. Because I believe, in ODI and Test cricket, you should have a stable batting order. But T20, it's a completely different format. To just have an example of England, they are currently the best, T20 side. Just look at their middle order. Sometimes they open with Ben Stokes and Josh Butler. Sometimes they open with Josh Butler, Jason Roy. Sometimes they open with Jason Roy, Johnny Bairstow. So, now they have shifted Johnny Bairstow to number 4. So I think T20 is such a unique format that it's the survival of the fittest. So I think according to the situation you play, I remember that match BC versus CSK 2021 first match. Rishabh Pant promoted himself to number 3. To just clear the finishing line in as early as possible again, because you need those hitting run and that momentum. So I don't believe that you should be a stable. The more your middle order is flexible, I think you're a that good team.
Again, it's horses for courses. Depends on the match, but I do have to say stability. And I'm always told that's wrong, but I think stability in any side, T20, ODI, Test matches, stability. If you go through any form of history, stability has been the key to a good side. Period.
Absolutely, I would second that. Sorry, Siddharth, I'm cutting you. But given this, the combination of this Delhi side, they have 2 attacking openers in Prithvi Shaw and Shikhar Dhawan. If Shikhar Dhawan plays big, he plays big. He means it, and that's why they have that easiness to play either of Steve Smith or Ajinkya Rahane, which provides that stability. After that, they can shift and shuffle their batting unit as per the condition of the match. They can either promote Shimran Hetmyer if they want to go all out. They can promote Rishabh Pant if they want to go all out, or they can promote Lalit Yadav like today if they want to stabilize the innings. They have that freedom. They have that easiness to go out and shuffle things. But their top 3 is very stable, and that is what is very crucial in today's cricket.
You don't muck around with your top 3. You do not muck around with your top 3. Siddharth.
Look at
Norman. Norman, why I said that point? You remember how flabbergasted we were when the Sunrisers Hyderabad team had chopped and changed so much.
Exactly.
It went to such an extent, like David Warner couldn't even pronounce the names of the guys who had come into the side, and that reeked of arrogance, and that spread through the entire team. Now see where they're at the bottom.
And that is happening again this season.
Exactly.
Watch the dugout. Watch the dugout. The whole Peyton place, the whole teledrama is happening right in front of your eyes. Sunrisers Hyderabad could not hide the dissension. That's why they're 0 from 3. And I think I'm in fear that they may stay there. They're the biggest disappointment. But the biggest shock to me so far is that if CSK win there in the doubleheader tomorrow, which they probably will beat KKR, they could be 1 or 2 at this early stage in the table. But in fact, they're the so-called what would you call it? The net run rate. They're killing it. They're absolutely killing it. We are in a situation there where CSK are a bit of a smoky. They're going to probably make the top 4. I don't think they're good enough to beat the other 3 sides, but they're in the top 4. That's commendable. Sunrise Hyderabad should have been there. or KKR, and those two teams have been overwhelmingly disappointing. Absolutely. Again, watch the dugout, guys. Take a note of the dugout. That tells you everything. All right, Mr. Chakraborty. I love calling you Chakraborty because I love that name. Let's hear your thoughts. What's your thoughts? Tell us.
About what, Mr. Norman?
Well, you can. I want your. I've given him my take on how this is going. How significant a match has this been for Delhi Capitals, in your mind?
I think it's massive. It's massive. 3 wins. They have 6 points under their belt out of possible 16 to qualify, and they are in a very comfortable situation right now. And mind you, they are. I think they have played their first match in Chennai, and now they will settle down here and keep this momentum going in Chennai, which is very crucial. Had they lost their match today, it would have been okay. Can we take on these conditions in Chennai? But this cloud, the first match cloud, is now over. They will play their next match. They will know the condition. So it is a good momentum to take very early on. Similar for RCB as well. They have started phenomenally well. Delhi Capitals are second now. Same story. If you win your matches early, you have that cushion. Okay, if we lose a couple in the later half of the tournament, we are still safe because we did well when the tournament started and other teams were settling down.
Absolutely. I think I'm seeing, well, I shouldn't say early from Mumbai Indians, but there's an element of Mumbai Indians now about the Delhi Capitals that makes any sense. There's something, an air of invincibility is starting to shift, and led by Punt. Siddharth.
Absolutely. I mean, as I said, this year could very well be Delhi Capitals this year because neutral venues, Pant doing well, and he's having a calm head. Yes, he had that one horror misjudgment against Rajasthan Royals wherein he did not bowl Ashwin out, but he will learn. He is learning. He's a fast learner. And he's basically got a team of captains. Shikhar Dhawan, Steve Smith, Ajinkya Rane, even Marcus Stoinis has captained to a certain extent. Prithvi Shaw. So,
go ahead. Keep going, sir.
Yeah, so Delhi Capitals, it's all for them to lose now. But out of sheer respect for Shubhayan, and because we've had a very healthy banter, I wouldn't call the CSK-KKR match one-sided at all. KKR and CSK have had a topsy-turvy rivalry. One is a seesaw. If one wins, they win the other game. It's never been one-sided. So if KKR win tomorrow, then it throws open the entire table from number 3 to number 8. Also, because tomorrow it is the battle of the laggards as well. Sunrisers Hyderabad and Punjab Kings. Either one team will get off the bottom or they will stay at the bottom. So KKR CSK is very, very important in the broader context of things. And it'll be a very close match.
And KKR in Mumbai this time at Wankhede. So
I made the mistake of underestimating KKR in 2012. The trolling that I got since then, 9 years on. Sorry, boss. I don't want to take any team lightly.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to, continue to the fact that we were talking about Rishabh Pant, the way he has got matured as a captain, yes, I believe that, he missed a over of Ashwin in the first match, but, a very nervous moment, he's just started to captain. He's captain before in the domestic cricket, but IPL is altogether, it's more than an international cricket or even more than any Asia Cup or any types of league. So, there are all sorts of measure. But from that game, I remember a scene today in the match, when it was the last over, Avesh Khan was bowling to Rahul Chahar, and Rahul Chahar managed to hit a 4. And next ball, Avesh Khan hit the hard deck. He bowled at around 135, and at that was a dot ball. Till then, Rishabh Pant again scolded him that, I told you not to bowl that, hard deck. I told you to bowl the slower one. And the next ball, he bowled a slow delivery, and it was a catch to, Rishabh Pant. So, he's learning from the great Ricky Ponting. And, if he, continues his form and team is in such a momentum and he just carry forward the momentum, all support from the, big players like Shikhar Dhawan starting from the front, Steven Smith, Ajinkya Rahane from the dugout, Ashwin, all these quality players are around him. It can be the era. It's already an era. He started from Gaba, then England, then T20Is, then ODIs, and now in the IPL, leading his team, got an opportunity. So it can be that golden era when a player just recognize double of his team. So very much happy for a player like Rishabh Pant.
That's well and truly stated. This Rishabh Pant, and I think some people say, oh, it's too early, etc. Ganguly said it. A number of people have been saying it. We're looking at a man, unless he gets injured or something dramatic happens, will be a sensational for a long time to come. Again, he's not the next Adam Krill. He's not the next Dhoni. He's the first Rishabh Pant.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
He's very unique.
Spot on.
Siddharth.
Yep.
I'll put Yatharth in a spot here. Okay. Just a 1 minute digression. If I'll put Yatharth in a spot, the way how he glorified the IPL, I have a feeling he is one of the major fans of the European Super League, Shubhayan. What do you say?
Exactly. Rishabh Pant, he's a superstar. For me, I have been supporting personally. I have been supporting him, Rishabh Pant. Since the time he made his debut under Dhoni. It was 2017. In 2018 he started. Sorry. In 2018 he started to got a lot of fame, and he was the number one first choice wicketkeeper in all the three formats. Then he just got dropped from everywhere. He was just boycotted at points of time. It dropped from Australia in the limited series. New Zealand was horrible. So to come back from that time, I think this man has came a long way. He has seen all the ups and downs in his small cricket journey.
Look, there's no doubt. I was there watching these matches in Australia. I saw him in the nets. I saw the attitude. I saw the way the team looked at him. I'm telling you, a lot of the Indian senior players were marveling Pant. They were talking as if to say, look at this guy. There was something that clicked in him in Australia. In particular, the Gullah match. Something clicked. He's realised what he's done. Now he's going to get better. He's going to turn his 80s and 90s into regular hundreds. He's going to turn his regular hundreds into 150s. He's going to go to another level. It's going to get better and better and better. I think the guy, unless something dramatic happens, is on such a trajectory, he'll leave everybody else in his wake. There'll be a point when there'll be a transition between the likes of Kohli and Rohit Sharma to Pant. I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight, but I think we'll see that momentum moves to him, and he will lead a young brigade of Indian players through amazingly. Just a quick point on Prithvi Shaw. I noticed the batting of Dhawan with Shaw. Okay, they both tend to be they're batting well. Dhawan is actually the senior batter. He takes that fatherly role almost to Shaw, but that could be somewhat of a downfall to Shaw. He's not able to express himself because Dhawan does a lot of the expressing when they're batting together. I think Shaw's a leader as well, as he's been a captain. He may need to break the shackles from Dhawan a little bit and be his own player. That's a fundamental flaw in Shaw at the moment, whereas Pant has done that. Pant is now leading the charge. Shaw's struggling with what he would like to do is actually lead the charge. When he opens the batting, he'd like to be the lead opening batsman. Unfortunately, he's not able to while a guy like Darwin's playing there. What's your thoughts? That's my concern about Shaw, actually.
I think if you look at Shaw, he's being over expressive. The way he came back in the first match against Chennai. He came with all guns blazing. He emphasizes more on his cricketing shots rather than their lofty shots. So from Chennai, I believe that this guy has came back. Like Rishabh Pant. Then Prithvi Shaw, got dropped after one bad match against Australia. So it gives him a mental effect, that he was the first choice first choice opening batsman with someone like Mayank Agarwal, and he had already lost his spot by just one bad game, and now he is not even a contender. So he wanted to show that what he's made up of. The first match he played against Chennai, absolutely perfect, 85 of 36 balls. I think that is a player that Prithvi Shaw is all about. But when he went to Punjab again, his sideway movement troubled him a lot. He got out to a slower delivery. On other day, he would have dispatched it for a four or maybe a lofted cover drives. But on that particular day, he got troubled. So I think a lot to work him again. He had a fabulous Vijay Hazare Trophy. I think Delhi Capitals has also done a great thing. They have appointed Praveen Amre as the assistant coach only just because to help Prithvi Shaw in his game, because he can be the future of Delhi Capitals. If we invest in him, he can be someone like Rohit Sharma, who is for Mumbai Indians, not as a captain but as a opening batsman. So
Yeah,
it's
Shaw will not be captaining over punts. That's not going to
no,
happen.
definitely he's not going to captain. But it's Indian Premier League. The more we emphasis on Indian players, I think the better that team will become. So I think if Prithvi Shaw, he against, it's a long tournament. If he realizes what his mistakes are, if he starts slowly, because he knows that one or two good shots will came bringing back into the games, and then he can just emphasize on his strike rate. So
Yeah,
so
but I
if
think
he
it's the combination with Darwin that I'm concerned about. Why? Because Darwin is a dominant opening bat, understandably so. He
but
deserves that mantle. But Prithvi Shaw has to say, right, I'm going to make
But
my presence felt, and I think it'll happen. It'll happen, I'm sure. But there's a concern. It's such a power-packed Indian lineup, whatever format. It's going to be scary when they all click. I tell you, watch out.
Norman, I
the
would like to
more
add here about Prithvi Shaw. Prithvi, I feel Prithvi Shaw and Shikhar Dhawan actually complement each other pretty well. If we look at Prithvi Shaw's knock of 72 and 32, by the time he was there, Shikhar Dhawan was playing the anchor role. He wasn't dominating because he knows Prithvi Shaw, if he gets going, then he will be like a mini Sehwag. He will go all over, he will smash a 70 of 30, 35 balls, and he will be okay with it. Uh, and I feel Prithvi Shaw is going through what Rishabh Pant went through in the last year or so. The lack of confidence, the getting dropped from the Indian team. I think it is a bit similar, and I think the Indian management is also treating Prithvi Shaw as they did with Rishabh Pant. They just couldn't drop Pant all out of the squad because he was the backup wicket keeper in the squad with along with Riddhiman Saha. So that's the thing. And before 2019, MS Dhoni was there. So I think that is where Prithvi Shaw is stuck at the moment, and I'm pretty sure. And interestingly, Shikhar Dhawan and Prithvi Shaw, I feel, are the two openers going for that one spot in the T20 World Cup Indian squad after KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma. So it is pretty interesting, pretty fascinating to see two batsmen complement each other decently. So far, two matches they have clipped, two they haven't. So it is pretty fascinating to see them both playing for a single team and fighting for that same single spot for the T20 World Cup squad.
Look,
And I personally feel we should leave Prithvi Shaw as he is because he's a match winner. He knows he has that technical, what we say, a bit of lack of technical ability through the gaps or test cricket I'm talking about. But in white ball cricket, if he gets going, then he's a sure shot match winner, similar to Rishabh Pant.
I'm only making a comment about Shaw because I feel that depending on how they handle him, and I'm sure they're handling him as best as they possibly can, that could be pivotal to Shaw's long-term future. He needs to find a way, and it's all up here. The technique, the abilities there, it's all up here with Shaw. And I think that's where I'd like to see him come through and imagine Punt and Shaw firing. And I'm talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the track when some of the other players may not be there. They're going to become the nucleus of the team. Siddharth, stop texting your girlfriend. What are you doing?
I'm just looking at the quotes. It's typical Rohit, typical Pant, nothing out of the blue that they have said. We need to play smart cricket. Yes, everybody has to play smart cricket to win. So I'm just looking at what are the new story ideas that I can do for tomorrow. that's the thing. I'm already preparing for tomorrow.
But I must say, look, I'm a real word person. To me, when I hear, I've told you about the story about chasing, I hate that word. I also hate the word smart cricket. What the hell is smart cricket? Can someone tell me what smart cricket is?
Play according to situation and just not lose your head out there.
That's not smart cricket. That's just.
I'll go read on darts cricket. I'll read on darts cricket now. Not smart cricket.
Yeah, but then everybody starts saying it, and then every team goes, "Oh, we're going to play smart cricket." Stop saying that, or we're going to bowl in the right areas. I hate that. with the right areas. What the pitch is the right area. What are you talking about? I mean, I'm being flippant. People need to learn when they're talking about. I'm talking at all levels. Be individual or be specific. Don't jump on a word because Siddharth just said it. Okay, I think, and I'm just saying that it's a very important thing about. And there's one commentator today. I'm bursting to talk about the person, but I won't. I'll hold back because she's a nice person. She's a good friend, but I can't talk about it. I think I've said enough. Fundamental lesson when you're not that I'm not saying I'm a guru, but when you're commentating and a player is about to play a ball, shut up. I don't want to hear commentary over and top. I don't want to go, oh, and 54.3% of the blah, blah. I don't want to hear that. I want to watch the ball. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
It annoys me horrendously when someone's commentating over the delivery.
That is why all modern people who want to get into the media and want to write match reports, watch the match on mute. It'll help you a lot more.
Absolutely.
More than that, if we get to, hear the stump mic, I think the Rishabh Pant, he just absolutely plays with the stump mic, it gets, even Dhoni, the way he gave tips to the bowler, I think that would be more encouraging for young players.
Yeah. Commentators out there, not that I'm an expert by any stretch of imagination, but as a fan, as a viewer, I do not want to hear your stats when the bowler's coming in to bowl. I don't care if he's bowled 34.3 recurring or something. That is rubbish. I can't stand that. Sorry, I'll have to calm down.
We miss Richie Beno today.
Oh. Shot. What's wrong with just saying shot? That's all you're hitting to hear. We want to see it. We don't want to go, oh, and last year on the third over, he hit 4.5 meters longer than this shot. I don't care. I want to watch the ball. I'm sorry, but it's pervading
Apart from a few commentators, I think pretty much the current batch is not up to the mark. We can't even put them on the same line from the commentators of the 90s and 80s.
You do not have to be a stats guru. You do not have to be a stats guru. And let's be honest, someone shoves those stats under their nose anyway. Stop being a stats guru and say, what a wonderful shot. That's all you have to say.
I remember.
It is more of failure of differentiating radio commentary from TV commentary, right?
Yeah.
In radio, we can understand, okay, if we are saying 36.3 overs, Avesh Khan is running into ball to whoever it is.
Exactly.
I just remember one instance from the 90s. I think it was Australia, England, Adelaide, 95 Ashes Test. Fleming bowls a demon reverse swinger of a ball. He knocks over Mark Ramprakash. Then Tony Greig just goes ballistic. In the car, when the slow motion's there, Richie Beno just says, "Brilliant." Sums up the whole thing.
That
Brilliant.
sums up the whole thing. Exactly. That is what required.
But I'm being really rude here, but I'm going to be strong about it. If anyone's watching out there and they watch the game, observe this. People that talk too much, would they just go zip? Okay? You do not need to say 50,000 facts every ball to prove that I'm a commentator. I'm an ex-player, and in 1999 I scored this one. I don't care. I want to watch that ball, comment on the ball. That's it.
There should be separate.
It's more of commentainment, commentary plus entertainment now.
Oh,
I think
it's beating your chest and saying, I know more than you. Well, I don't care. I want to watch the ball.
Word of the year, Shubhayan. Word of the year.
Yes.
Absolutely. Commentainment. Wow. I'd better note this down.
That's a great word. Commentainment. Am I wrong, guys? I listened to the game tonight, and I heard a certain person gibber away. They know what they're talking about. I'm not denying that, but I don't care. I don't care how well they're prepared. They feel I've got 500 stats here, and I'm going to shove it down your throat. No matter what happens, I'm going to shove it down your throat. That is wrong.
Forget the stats. If there's a replay, they'll put in a sponsor thing. Everything. Carbon
Okay.
Kamal catch or whatever was that. I don't know.
Imagine a
Guys, am I
sponsor game
wrong? Am I
format.
wrong? Am I wrong what I'm saying? Am I wrong?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. We
Well,
grew up in the golden era in the 80s and 90s. Seeing this is a shock. It's a culture shock for us to listen. That's why we keep it on mute.
But I mean, can't someone just have a little chat to them and say, "Hey guys, let's just be common sense about it." And it's inexcusable to talk when the bowler's coming in the ball and he's about to deliver the ball. Shut up. We want to watch. Okay, I've said my piece. All right, I feel better now. All right. I'm sorry, but I mean, look, part of our role on these shows are to talk outside the box, not just to repeat what every other channel's doing. Okay, every other channel will throw at you facts and figures and everything. I know we're going to get most aficionados about cricket know the stats. Quite frankly, they like to hear them, but they don't want to be drowned in them. They want emotive. I mean, Ian Bishop, the comment that he made when he's remember that famous remember the name. That's what
Carlos Brathwaite. Yeah.
That is gold. That's what you need to hear. You need that emotive finish to a match.
He's done it twice. He's done it twice.
Even Ravi Shastri was pretty much brilliant in these moments.
Sorry?
Exactly.
Ravi Shastri was pretty brilliant in these moments. He was
Absolutely.
fantastic.
He was gem of a
World
commentator.
Cup final. Even Ravi Shastri, I guess, was present in that Sachin Tendulkar farewell match also, but he gave it to Harsha Bhogle.
Yeah. But we will always remember Dhoni hits it out of the park.
Yeah. Six sixes. Last in 6 sixes.
Beautiful.
I know.
And look, I'm sure in your situation as a young man, a fan of cricket, when you get excited about a last ball victory or something close, the last thing you want to hear is what they did in 1993 percentage-wise against the bowler. I mean, I don't care.
Exactly. They're just stats. They can change any time around. So for me, these are piece of paper that don't even consider for players.
Exactly.
I think it is pretty good to have former cricketers as commentators, but they need to give much more analysis and analytics into the game, insights into the game. They just can't talk about their careers when a match is happening in 2021, right? We as viewers or listeners want them to talk about the match, what is happening in the match, or what would happen in the match, what is the situation.
Shubha
But, yes.
and Norman, have you heard the commentary of the 2013 rugby match between the All Blacks and Ireland, which was played in Dublin? The BBC commentary, I think that is a blueprint of how commentary should be. I will send that link, Shubha. And I think these are what, if upcoming people, if they have to learn, that's how you commentate. It's a tense situation. New Zealand, the All Blacks are on the verge of suffering their first ever defeat against Ireland. But they pull it off in sensational style. And if you keep your eyes closed, you can visualize the commentary. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Even
Just one last thing
football,
before we finish up, guys.
If they follow the likes of Peter Drury in football, I think these are poetic moments. They have covered one of the biggest of events in their life, and people just don't follow that footmarks.
The Spain-Russia game, the Croatia-England game, the Croatia-Russia match, Peter Drury, simply brilliant. Brilliant.
So many Premier League matches. Amazing.
Yeah. I like Norman's rant at 5 a.m. I like that.
This has been a wonderful conversation, guys. I'm just going to have to wrap this up now. We've had a fantastic discussion. Our emotions were high. It was a great result. Delhi Capitals came to the fore. Mumbai Indians certainly didn't fail, but they showed weakness for the first time in a long time. So great tournament. It's making it more exciting day by day. So thank you, all you lovely guests today. We've had a great time. Burrett Army is also a major part of this network. Very happy to have people on our show every time for the Burrett Army. Some great senior journalists. And then it comes to me. Crystal Ball is still saying Delhi Capitals. Delhi Capitals. I said that from day one, and I haven't, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I said it from day one. All right, guys. All the best. This is Norman Kochnek from Extra Time. signing off. We'll see each other very soon again. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yep.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much
Bye-bye.
for hosting.